Hi there, I'm Danny Flexen and welcome to the latest edition of SecondsOut ReFLEXions. We're here every Monday 4:30 PM to reflect on what's going on in the boxing world right now. And I don't know if it's the ongoing restrictions because of the coronavirus pandemic or if, people are just bored generally. But what's going on in the world at the moment seems to have a lot of boxers behaving rather erratically. And not just the usual suspects, the likes of, Adrian Broner, Billy Joe Saunders, to name just a couple, but some you wouldn't necessarily expect it from. Just last week we had Terence Crawford seeming to allege that COVID-19 was some wild conspiracy, something that Lou DiBella, if you've seen tonight's DiBella's Digest, last night's DiBella's Digest, wasn't too impressed with, I think it's fair to say. But while Crawford may have thought that he'd said the wackiest or most attention-grabbing thing that any boxer was going to say in the last couple of weeks, Devin Haney was probably, hold my beer. Well, actually, he's probably not old enough to drink yet, is he, out in America? So, hold my sponsor-provided protein drink or whatever. Haney decided it would be a good idea to repeat or maybe make fun of, it depends on the context you want to believe he said it in, Bernard Hopkins' age-old comments to Joe Calzaghe before their fight that he would never lose to a white boy. Haney was on a podcast talking about fighting eventually against Vasily Lomachenko at lightweight, and decided that he too would never lose to someone of Caucasian extraction. True or false, apparently he's lost to quite a few white guys in the amateurs, but maybe he meant never again. I don't want to hold him to his words verbatim, but either way, it probably wasn't the smartest thing to say. He's had an altercation with Hopkins before, Haney, so it's possible that he meant it as kind of a bit of a dig, maybe even an homage, who knows. But it's just a very strange thing to say. Beating Lomachenko is a huge ask in itself, but to say you're going to go the rest of your career without ever losing to someone who's white, a lot of boxers are white, it's a bit of a big thing to say. Why not just say you're going to go through your whole career unbeaten? But it just led to a bit of a strange trail of events. I mean, Haney was unsurprisingly castigated across social media. A lot of people call him a racist, which led to him apologising on social media, also having a conversation with Maurizio Suleiman, apparently the president of the WBC, where he apologised and clarified his position. It's interesting because Haney, I believe, has only just been reinstated as WBC lightweight champion, having been champion in recess before he was injured. And he could have been like the shortest title reign in history if Maurizio Suleiman had then stripped him almost straight away for making really ill-judged comments. I mean, Haney's still very young, and I don't put it against him too harshly. I certainly don't feel personally offended by it. I'm a white boy that he could 120% beat any day of the week and twice on Sundays. But I can understand why some people would have been offended because, it might be typical whataboutery, but you do have to think if a white boxer had said it about someone who was black or any other minority in the same context, it probably would have caused a huge stir, and I don't think people would have been discussing whether that person was racist or not. I think it would have been outright claimed. So there is an issue there. And Sam Jones, the manager of Joe Joyce, made some comments about it, basically in support of Haney, not in support of what he said, but just defending him because he's young and, he didn't mean it the way it was kind of reported. And Anthony Fowler then responded to that by saying he thought there was no real excuse for it. It was a racist comment to make, a position that I have all sympathy for. But then as their conversation between Jones and Fowler developed, Fowler put a picture up of his last fight and said something like, it's just like if I said, the last guy I fought, I'll never lose to a black boy in ice skates, because the last guy he fought had ill-fitting boxing boots and was sliding all over the ring. It was quite funny at the time, to be honest. Still quite funny now, I imagine, if you watch it back. But I'm going off on a tangent. So Fowler kind of used that comment to expose the fact that Haney's original comment was racist, and I understand why he did it. I think most people understood it. Then Ohara Davies, who's not shy of controversy himself, decided to quote tweet Fowler's comment and say, yeah, this is what he really thinks, or something along those lines. This is what he's really feeling. I can't remember the exact words, partly because I blocked Ohara Davies a little while ago when I made a joke based on Ty and Booth's videos that he didn't find funny and went on a 3 or 4 tweet tirade against me, and even said my articles were rubbish, which is a bit annoying because 3 or 4 of them have been about him. But maybe he's right, who knows. But that aside, again, more tangents, he then said, yeah, this is how he's really feeling, trying to allege that Fowler was actually a racist and he'd used the Haney opportunity, if you like, to express his true feelings. Something that seemed absolutely ridiculous. However, rubbed Fowler up the wrong way. Fowler then responded by saying, first defending himself and saying it was taken out of context, which is fine, but then basically offering Ohara Davies out in a car park at the next Matchroom show. Which, if it's going to happen, I would love to see it. I think they should add it to the pay-per-view, make it the chief support, but still have it in a car park with no referee and have it like last man standing rules in WWE. So whoever can't rise by the count of 10, fight's over. I would love to see that, and I know a lot of fans out there. You know, I like Fowler. I even like Davis, or at least until he started hating me. But just seeing them two go at it in a car park would just, yeah. Take my money, Eddie Hearn. Hate to give you ideas, to be honest, but yeah, take my money. But yeah, it just shows that the comments made by Haney, and I don't want to make light of them too much, had kind of a ripple effect. And it seems to be, you know, I don't know who's going to be next. Someone's bound to like jump on the bandwagon and have a go at Davis next, and then it'll go from there. I think all of it leads back to the fact that boxers, not just bored in isolation at the moment, but need to get those column inches and keep their profile high and keep the momentum going, even though they can't fight. They can't train, and they're not really, you know, they're only having a few interviews here and there, whether on podcasts, on Skype, like we're doing a lot of, and that kind of thing. So maybe some of them are saying things they wouldn't normally say and behaving out of character for that reason. I'm not defending what he said at all, but, you know, you can understand why this isolation is now getting to people who are used to being in the public eye and also used to keeping busy, training 2-3 times a day, and they need something to occupy their time. All I would say to Devin Haney is, that's probably not it. You know, go find a hobby, take up needlework, I don't know, but not that. But as for Fowler and Davis, if that comes off, love to see it. More of that. More beef between fighters on Twitter, if it leads to actual fights, would be great. I don't think we're going to see Fowler and Davis, who are separated by 2 weight divisions, in the ring anytime soon, though, unfortunately. But that's my big reflection on the week, which, depending on how you look at it, probably underlines the fact that very little is going on at the moment. But hey, it amused me. I hope it amuses you. Let me know what you think of the whole, I don't know what you call it, hate triangle, perhaps, below, and I'll respond to some of the comments. I really appreciate the time, as always. Be back next week for ReFLEXions, 4:30 PM Monday, and FlexPectations this Thursday, 4:30 PM. Really appreciate it. See you soon.